Hi friendly friends, it's Amy from Savor, Salvage Scent. Hope you are well. Kicking off a series today that is focused on the incredible contributions to Perfumery by Black and Brown people. I am starting the series, one, because I am just interested in learning as much as possible, but I see a disconnect between a thriving industry that is often supported by Black and Brown people, yet as I've tried to do research about or learn more about Black noses, Black companies to do with fragrance, there's a dearth of information. So I am doing this so that we can learn together. I am not going in chronological order. I'm going to be exploring all the scents that I can get my hands on that are either, again, created by Black noses, by Black celebrities, Black companies, and wherever they fall in the diaspora, people of color, Black people, no matter where they live in the world. So not going in chronological order, just trying to keep it fresh based on lines or interests. But I would just encourage you, if you have information that I don't that you want to share, if you have recommendations for companies or designers, I would love to hear about it. I am going to start with a company or a house called Kimberly New York. And part of the reason I wanted to start with her company is because in reading her mission statement, it really to me nails why I want to do this series. I just thought her writing was really poignant. So just to give you a quick background, Kimberly New York is founded by Kimberly Walker. It was established in 2016. And she says her series or her line is an answer for the modern, socially conscious consumer in search of Black-owned fine perfumery. She was born in St. Anne, Jamaica, and raised between New York City and St. Petersburg, Florida. She states, "During my 10-year career as a niche fragrance sales manager, I noticed, although fragrance consumers were ethically diverse, rarely did I ever encounter a fragrance brand that featured Black models, and never did I encounter a fragrance brand led by a Black female perfumer." So, I am a believer that everything started in Africa. Africa is the cradle of civilization. Racism and white supremacy has an effect over too many things, if not everything. It's systemic, and I see it in the fragrance community as well. So I'm really excited to learn more about these contributions and to just support Black business in any way that I can. So again, starting with this house, I read more about her. She just sounded so interesting, the owner and nose, and there were options on her site of choosing the fragrances themselves. They're made with high quality essential oils, but they're alcohol based as well. And you can buy bottles, 3.4 ounce or 100 milliliter bottles for around, I think they're about $100, which is really I would say a going rate, or even a good rate for a nicely made perfume. Or you can, I think, half an ounce bottles, I think are like 20 or 30, something around there. But around the 20 or 30 mark, she also offers like sample sets or exploratory sets. So I purchased one of those. It comes with 7 samples this size. And so I'm going to just quickly review these and tell you a little bit about my experience, which has been really amazing. So I have, again, 7 scents here. Some are marketed as scents for women, some are marketed as unisex scents, and some are for men. I have said before, and I'll say it again, I don't really play by those rules. I understand why those labels help some people, but I'm gonna maybe love any of these. So yeah. All right, so I have not only tested these earlier today, I'm going to kind of re-dab them as I talk about them, and I've also created little fragrance strips so that I can kind of tell you how they dry down and tell you what the notes are. So let's do this. All right, first scent is called Dimple. How adorable. Okay, The top note is mint, the mid note is sugar cookie, and the base is dark chocolate. So, a gourmand. Really nice gourmand. So, I, in both eating and in perfumery, I don't always love chocolate. Chocolate isn't actually an easy win for me. I find chocolate sometimes can be like a really cheap thing. Like it's like, as long as it's milk chocolate, it almost doesn't matter the quality. People seem to just love chocolate. I don't know. But for me, I have to either have like a really rich, deep chocolate, or I have to have something else going on that makes it interesting. And that to me is what's really cool about this scent. I've smelled a lot of like cheap chocolate kind of scents. This is, I think, really, really chic. It's really good. So you definitely get, I don't so much get the cookie, but I get the mint and the dark chocolate. And it's, God, I think this is sexy. Like, I think that, again, I don't play by these rules, but I think a man or a woman could easily wear this. And it's got a bit of an earthiness. It's not just, it's not like candy. It's more like, I mean, it's still gourmand. Like, what I think when I smell this is probably like to take a bite out of the person who's wearing it. It's really nice. So Dimple, definitely could recommend that. Really great. And I've smelled a lot of chocolate scents, and I would say if I've smelled 100, I've probably loved 10, and this is a love. I really think it's nice. So amazing. Okay. Next is Indigo Love. This is, the top note is tangerine, the middle note is honeysuckle, and the base is cedarwood. I'm gonna actually try to find this sample really quick because I want to re-dab this and kind of tell you a little bit more about the experience. I think this is, again, I think this is a total winner for its category. So, sorry, of course, I think it's the last one I'm going to pick up here. Yep. All right. So, Indigo Love. This I have like on my inner elbow from earlier today. But I'm going to kind of reapply for a minute here. Okay. Oh, God, it's so good. Okay. So, Indigo Love. First, I'll just say, I'm not sure the name. Who knows? She's a creative lady. She's got her reasons, I'm sure. Indigo to me usually says like depth, blue, you know, but what I get from this is it is a great citrus scent. Like, I happen to love citrus. I love the smell of fresh cut lemon, orange, tangerine, grapefruit. This to me is such a nice bright tangerine, and something that I really appreciated about this is, again, there's a lot of citruses that I think are good, but there's a lot that smell cheap or just smell like a body wash, you know, which is great for what it is. But even though there's just a few notes in this, the cedarwood I think really does something for this, and it's just such a true clean citrus. To me, this is almost exactly like what it smells like when you literally peel into a tangerine the first time. Has a tiny bit of depth from the cedar, tiny bit of floralness from the honeysuckle, but it's just, to me, a great straightforward citrus scent. And man, would this be good this time of year, and especially as it gets hot. Like, so Indigo Love, again, a total recommend. I think it's awesome. Beautiful. Okay, next is Poetry. The top note is peach, the mid note is magnolia, and the base is sandalwood. She loves sandalwood, I'm noticing, and she often uses it as a base, and her sandalwood is really nice. So yeah, get it. Okay, I would say, like, what I'm feeling, I don't know if it's true or if she would say this, but you know, often in fragrance houses there's like a DNA or something that kind of runs through that whole person's line, and I would say sandalwood seems to be something that feels like part of her DNA. So Poetry, I'm going to apply on this one finger here. Okay. This is definitely really peachy. I like peach. People tend to, I think, love it or hate it. Very fresh. I don't really get a lot of magnolia. Maybe a little of the sandalwood that, again, makes it, I think if it were just peach, it would smell juvenile. Frankly, it does not smell juvenile, but it does smell a bit like a Jolly Rancher. It smells a little more adult than that, if that makes any sense, but you smell kind of like a piece of candy walking around, or a piece of fruit, a peach. There's not a lot more than that. I wouldn't say this is really complex, but I'd say it's good for what it is. It's a straightforward fruit scent that does not smell juvenile. So that is what I would say about Poetry. Okay. Next on the list is something called Art Color Love. The top note is watermelon. The mid note is ginger, or notes are ginger and mint tea, and the base is sandalwood. Okay, first I'm going to tell you there's a bit of a surprise in the dry down here, which is important to say. So this is the only scent I would say out of the 7 that I smelled of hers that I wouldn't be inclined to buy. And it's not that it's not good, it's not what I'm looking for. But it, to me, this absolutely, when you first dab it, smells just like a watermelon or a melon Jolly Rancher. Like, I can't even tell you how much it smells like that. Which is like, you know, awesome that it's an, you know, like such a close interpretation to that. It just does feel, it feels a little like not complex. It wasn't what, you know, I'm looking for. But here's what's interesting. When it dries down, it's awesome. Like, I'm not sure if I always want to wait for the dry down, but the ginger, the mint tea, and the sandalwood really come out like after it's dried down a little. And so, like, I have to say I've kind of changed my mind about this scent. At first I was kind of like, I think this is my least favorite of the 7, but now that I smell this, I'm like, I wouldn't mind waking up to somebody like smelled like this the morning after. It smells great. So just know what you're getting into. You're gonna smell like a Jolly Rancher at first, and then it's gonna get, I would say, a little more grown up. So that's Art Color Love. All right, the last 3 I have to say are, I love the orange scent. What is that? Indigo Love. I loved that, but my absolute favorites are the last 3, and I think they're tremendous. Okay, so interestingly, 2 of these 3 that I love are marketed to men. Look at me. I'm wearing it and loving it anyways. Okay, so one is Echelon for Men, and the top notes are orange zest and anise. If you know me, I love anise, so there we are. Mid notes, black pepper and musk, and the base notes are leather and mahogany. I'm smelling the strip that gosh, I love this. This is so good. It is, this almost reminds me of the smell of old paper, definitely old leather, like sitting in an old leather chair, wearing an old leather jacket. But it's got a tiny bit, like you get a little bit of the orange zest and the anise. So nice. This to me, and it definitely has a little musk going on, this to me would be the perfect fall or even winter scent. This to me is what, like, wearing a leather coat, sitting in a cabin by a fire, that is what this smells like. It's so nice, and to me this is like, again, I think I'm gonna have to buy a bottle of this just for the fall. It's so nice, and it's marketed to men, and I'm gonna wear it like crazy. So Echelon for Men, really nice. It's almost like addictive. Like when I put this on my, actually, where's this? Here. I kept smelling it through the day and was like, gosh, it smells so nice. And even though there's a lot of, pardon me, goodness gracious, even though there's a lot of like leather scents and woody scents, this still kind of has something original going on. It's really nice. So highly recommend Echelon for Men. Pardon me. Man, it is allergy season. I walked out for my walk last night. My car was covered in like a yellow sheen, and there was white fluff all over the ground. And that's what's going on here. So thanks for hanging in. Okay, last two. Bangers. Amazing scents. Okay. So again, another scent marketed for men. It's called I. The top notes are coriander and mint tea. I love that she's putting tea in fragrance. God, I love tea. The mid notes are ginger and ylang-ylang, and the base notes are oak moss and sandalwood. Wow, this is another one that I feel like is very different when it dries down, so I'm actually gonna dab it too. All right, where am I going? Only got so much real estate. And by the way, I'm sorry I'm kind of scantily clad. It's hot as hell in Ohio right now. It's like 90, and it's not even summer yet. All right. Wow. This one, you really get the ginger. This is kind of fresh herbal. Fresh herbal, mint tea, sandalwood. Smells even a tiny bit soapy. I don't know if that's, I think it's a coriander maybe. If you've ever smelled coriander in fragrances. You know, people actually that dislike cilantro often say it tastes like soap, and I think it has a soapy smell, a very fresh smell. And that's coriander and cilantro are, you know, related. I get, honestly, every one of the notes in this. I can kind of smell it, but it's such a nice blend. And again, this is another one where it's like the sum is greater than its parts. Like, it's really sophisticated. And again, it's marketed to men, but I think like not even just for the winter months or the colder months. I think a man or a woman could wear this any time of year. It's really nice. So like if you like these notes, coriander, mint tea, ginger, ylang-ylang, oak moss and sandalwood, really good, really good. Like these are, you know, niche fragrances for a really good price, and I'm really excited to buy a couple full bottles. I think these would be great signature scents too, because I mean, sadly, I only saw a few reviews of her works on Fragrantica, so I think they're a little under-recognized, but what that also says to me, while there's an opportunity to really celebrate her and kind of be first fans, I also think it's great to find fragrances that not everybody is wearing. So I think they're very unique. So I am saving my absolute favorite to last, and that is what she says is her signature scent, and it's called Artsy, which I, of course, love. The top note is red candied apple. The mid notes are sparkling violet and marshmallow accord. And the base note is creamy sandalwood. This is another one. I actually almost, even though this was in the sample set, I almost didn't order the sample set because I was like, that sounds, honestly, just from the description, I was like, people do apple pretty badly. Marshmallow can smell really cheap sometimes. And I actually like all those things, but often fragrance interpretations of them kind of stink, or they smell like Bath and Body Works, you know, like, again, which I'm not totally against Bath and Body Works, but sometimes I want a little more sophistication. Anyways, this scent, oh my God, is so cool. It's so, to me, it's like edible, awesome. It's still sophisticated. Oh my gosh. So anyways, what's incredible to me is it, this is on my wrist. Oh, it smells so good. This is one of those where if I smelled this on somebody in a store, I would have to go after them and be like, what are you wearing? Because you smell amazing. This to me, oh my God, it is like, it's so incredible because it's got like, almost like what I would call fair food in it. So it's like, you know, candied apples, marshmallows. And by the way, I love both of those things. But again, the interpretations often I find to be really like crap, frankly. This is so chic. Oh my God, it's so good. And I don't get why, but like it's got a smokiness when I, especially when you first apply it. It's got the violet, which is kind of a powdery scent. you definitely pick up the candied apple, and definitely red apple, not green apple, which I think a lot of scents are green apple based. This is definitely red apple. And then that woodiness almost creates, the sandalwood almost creates like a smoky quality. You guys, it is so good. Like, I cannot believe this is $100 for 3.4 ounce. So I would say this is one of those, like, not now, but right now, buy it. It's so good. So I would say this whole line is like a winner, totally worth exploring. I think I'm like really excited to get to know this person better and her contributions. I think when you read her website, she sounds like a really interesting, lovely, like creative person. And these works are so cool. Like, I love that a lot of her names are kind of based on art, and you can just see her creativity. I think her tagline is something like unbridled creativity or something like that, and that really comes out in the Perfumery. I would just say something I hope that to see more of through buying full bottles is like what her brand kind of looks like. I don't get a real sense of that from the testers, but as far as what they feel like, these are awesome quality, niche, and I would say most of them super unique, really interesting combinations, gorgeous, can't stop smelling myself, delicious. So really, really cool house that I recommend. So Kimberly, New York. So today's homework, if you're game, I would love to hear from you. Who are your favorite black noses, black celebrity fragrances? Do you have any vintage perfumes I should be looking into? And last but not least, if you think if there's a black celebrity who has not created a fragrance, who do you think would have a really interesting fragrance? My mind first goes to Josephine Baker, and it's interesting that I say that because one of the next lines I'm going to review is by a perfumer named Chris Collins, and he's actually created a perfume based on her, and I haven't smelled it yet, so I'm so excited. Anyway, so thanks for listening, and again, if you have any ideas about the upcoming contributions or next explorations to do with this series, I would love to hear about them. Thanks so much. Hope you're having a great day. Bye.